Well, welcome back to another Ruthless Ideas podcast. Today, we have two amazing videos to talk about. It's a two-part series, but I'll take you through the first one. So, the first one was I called it the next best engineering tool. Part 1. So, the reason why I called it this is because the whole idea was a two-parter, but there's one part is like the computer and one part is like the attachments. So two-parter, but let's get into it. So, do you know what the pin toy like things are? They're where you put your hand. Yeah, it's a little square that has a bunch of pins. Put your hand on it and then it like shapes out your hand. Or you put like your face in it and it shows your face. All different colors. Pretty much, I feel like that's a very universal toy. I feel like there's a lot of people who've seen it. If you haven't, look it up. You'll probably recognize it right away. But that was the whole point of this idea, is using that ability to shape with those pins into an engineering tool. So the first video, I designed the computer part of it. So showing what it would look like, how it would actually work, and this time I went a little more in depth on modeling what is on the inside. So I modeled a spot for the main brains of it, the little microcontroller. I designed a spot for the Bluetooth because it probably have an app. I designed a spot for an SD card for storage, and then I also designed a spot for the electromagnet. So that was just more of the overall of just, this is what's going to be in the kind of product. This is what I kind of want it to look like, and then I wanted to model it out so I could kind of see where everything would play out. So what this computer does, like what the main product does, is there's two heads. One head allows you to put something on top of it, and it would be able to, like on the pins, and it would be able to tell you the weight of it within reason. You can't put like 100-pound thing on it, but if you put, say, like a battery on it, it'd be able to tell you how much that weighs. The next part is it gives you dimensions. So for this, I'm kind of talking about both parts because they come together to one, so just stick with me, it'll be alright. But for the pin heads, for what I modeled was 759 pins. I know it sounds like a lot. That's not that many. I wanted to have close to probably 2,000, because the more pins you have, the better shape you'll get, and then the better just overall accuracy and end result will be better. So say you put this battery on it. It would be able to tell you the weight of it. It would be able to tell you the dimensions, because what goes down from the weight, because it would obviously have to move. Whatever goes down on the weight, you'd be able to tell from the ends how long it is and how wide it is. And then I want it to be able to do the calculation of the diameter of it. Because if you think about it, if you put the battery on it, say it's like laying down sideways, the pins will go up to the sides of the circumference of the battery. So you'd be able to take that half and you'd have you'd have the diameter of it and also the radius of the pin or of the battery. So you could just flip it over on its other side, or add it together and be able to get the full circumference or the full diameter of the battery. So definitely a possibility it could happen. But then the other thing is it can model it out for you. And so it can give you a rough estimate on what the object looks like. So say you put say a fork on there. You'd put it on, it would be able to give you one end where the forks are, and then it'd be able to go down. It wouldn't be able to get the width of it, but it would get the general like curvature of it, which is mainly the whole part of like having a problem modeling a fork out is the angles and the kind of how it's all shaped is so different and weird that if you were able to have this, sit it on it, and it tells you the angles and it tells you the radiuses of how big that arch is on it, it'd help you be able to model it better and get a better reading, but also be able to make it if you wanted to model it. And then if you wanted to get the thickness of it, you'd just use like a caliber or something and you'd get the thickness of it. So it would allow for just another next step of tooling where you can get better readings, and you wouldn't need a 3D scanner because those are more expensive. I don't know what this price would be. Could have a cheaper price, but also it offers more of value than just scanning something. So that's what the one head does. Then the other head, so I talked about the electromagnet. This electromagnet, like the head would react with the electromagnet, where if you turn the electromagnet on, it would be pushing out against the pins. So if you put something down on it, it wouldn't go down. And so kind of like how I had my moldable clamp head, this would kind of go around the part. And then you'd be able to, so say you flip it over on a tube. You don't press the electromagnet, you just let it sit. Then you put it down and put a clamp on it. Then you press the electromagnet. All the other pins are going to be pushed against it, plus the ones that are on the tube, but they can't go down any farther. So they're just pinning it against the desk. So this would allow for kind of that moldable clamp, but also it would allow for if you're working on something and you need a way to kind of grab the part, you can put it with the electromagnet and you can like turn it down obviously so that you can still push down the pins, but then the pins next to it can hold. So if you're trying to get off, say like a nut or a bolt and you can't get it off of this bolt, you put it on this head and it quote unquote grabs it for you, and then you can mess around with it until it comes off. So it just offers another type of wall / spot to help you, I guess. So it's kind of an all-round use case where it can kind of work for a lot of different things. Again, you can also add heads to this as well, because you just need to have a specific task you want to accomplish with it, and then you can add the pins and make another head where you could have 10 to 15 different heads for specific different things. And then you could also make it where the computer's smaller and it could be more directed towards one or two different types of like ideas and things you want to accomplish. So I think it's really cool. I think it's next gen. I think it's futuristic. And I think it's the perfect way to end Futuristic February. Funny thing is today is the last day of Futuristic February. So this podcast is going to be the last time you ever hear about Futuristic February. But next month is Movie March. What this means is I'm taking 8 ideas, inventions from movies, modeling it, breaking it down, and going to try and create it in SolidWorks. I'm not actually going to make the products. Too much time, sorry. But you're going to be able to see how you would want to make it, how possible it actually is, and what new technology might be able to be created to actually create these, or even create a new technology. I don't know, but it leaves it up for debate, which I love. And that's one of the coolest things, I think, is just the movies that they come up with. Can you bring it into the real world and show it's actually a tiny bit possible. You don't know. But that's my tackle. That's what I'm going to go for. So it's pretty cool. But now, time to talk about what I want to talk about. Which, don't hate me. I love talking about ruthless ideas, but it's a little segment of what I like talking about. So, we're going to talk about warmth, i.e., blankets. So, I don't know if y'all have ever felt just the softest freaking blanket ever. It is amazing, and it sucks that there's not more things out there that are just fuzzy. Like, there's a lot of things out there, but the quickness that it goes away is insane. And I don't know if you ever go to your friend's house and they got this blanket and it's just the best. I don't know. I think I'm obsessed with just softness, which is cool because soft things are awesome. But okay, little off topic. I've always wanted to create like 3D print things that look soft but are hard. So say like a gummy worm. If you could 3D print that it looks like a gummy worm and looks like it's soft, but then you 3D print it and it's actually hard, best prank ever. Or you print something that's hard. Honestly, it's kind of like the is it cake thing. You could think it's a phone. It's actually a cake. You don't know. It's kind of just out there. And I don't know, I think that'd be sweet. But soft blankets, awesome. Things that don't look exactly like they are actually awesome. Cake, awesome. Ruthless Ideas, awesome. If you haven't watched them, go check it out. Ruthless Ideas on YouTube, it's awesome. Then all of these videos or all these podcasts will make sense and you will understand what I am talking about. But thank you very much for listening, and I'll see you next week. Goodbye.